Aside from being an amazing movie, Inside Out 2 is packed with details and Easter eggs.
This is brilliant.
For example, did you know that several things that appeared in the first film are also in the second? T-shirt. In our first video, we talked about how Pixar joked about Riley's old clothes not fitting her anymore, like her multicolored t-shirt from the first film. That got us paying attention to notice other clothing items, and we discovered another really cool Easter egg. In the scene where she turns off the lamp and goes to sleep, notice that she's wearing a lilac t-shirt with Brang written on it. But what you definitely didn't notice was that this same t-shirt had already appeared in the first film. It was exactly the one Riley's dad was wearing the day they arrived at their new home in San Francisco. That's definitely one of the most hidden details in the movie. Mug. One of the coolest things about Inside Out's first film was definitely Riley's mind's relationship with her dreams and seeing how they're made in the Dream productions. And although we don't revisit that place in this film like we did in the first one, there's a little Easter egg that takes us back there anyway. When all the old emotions are gathered to watch one of Riley's pleasant memories, Fear is seen holding a coffee mug, and if you zoom in, you'll see it has the exact Dream Productions logo on it. Quite different from the mug he used while supervising Riley's dreams in the first film. This is not just an Easter egg, but also an evolution for Fear. Ball. Of course, one of Pixar's biggest Easter eggs couldn't be missing from Inside Out 2, but I have to admit, this one was hard to spot. During Riley's Mind's Career Day Parade, if you look behind the hidden curtains, you'll find Pixar's famous ball, which appears in the vast majority of the company's productions. Pillow. Speaking of dreams, in this second film, we get to see where the emotions sleep when Riley is asleep. And one of the funniest things that few people noticed is that Anger's pillow is actually a cement block, which suits him well, since the character was originally inspired by a brick. Boxing. Furthermore, another detail is that above Anger's sleeping spot, there's a speed bag, like the one boxers use for training. You've definitely seen that in some movie fight scenes before. I wonder if he uses it to relax before bed. Fire. And that's not all. If you look above the small punching bag, you'll notice there's a sprinkler. Those are fire prevention systems that activate and spray water when there's a fire. On the wall beside it, there's also a small fire extinguisher in case the sprinkler isn't enough, which makes a lot of sense considering Anger is literally a walking flamethrower. Besides that, we also notice his blanket is fireproof. Well thought out. Decor. Looking at where Joy sleeps, we notice her decor is very similar to Riley's room, which begs the question, did she influence Riley to decorate her room that way, or did she copy what Riley did? I don't know the answer, but it's definitely a cool detail. Rails. As for Fear, we notice he's truly the most cautious character of all. Notice that on the side of his bed, he uses safety rails, like those used on kids' beds right after they've transitioned from a crib. Not to mention the teddy bear, of course. Different minds. Truly, it's becoming more evident that Riley's mind is very different from everyone else's. As we discussed in the first Easter eggs video of Inside Out 2, because there were so many that one video wasn't enough, each mind has details that set them apart. We thought Riley's friends Bree and Grace had minds similar to our protagonist, with only the characteristics of their emotions changing. But upon closer inspection, we realize that's almost true. That's because there's a prevalence of purple in Bree's mind's emotions clothing, while in Grace's mind, it's the same thing but more focused on green. Truly, I'm increasingly convinced that Riley's mind is truly unique.
Why don't you have a seat?
Because this isn't a therapy session.
Sesame Street. When Riley is with her new friends, who are the hockey team, we see them ordering pizza at a place called Spinny Pizzas. To younger folks, this might just seem like any name, but to Inside Out director Kelsey Mann, it's a tribute to his favorite childhood show, Sesame Street. Didn't catch that? Don't worry, we'll explain. In the puppet show that's been airing since 1969, one of the most famous characters was Big Bird, and the person responsible for donning the costume and bringing him to life was performer Carol Spinney. Since he passed away in 2019, between the two movies, the folks at Pixar thought it fitting to pay tribute to this man who brought joy to millions of children. Socks. At a certain point in the movie, Riley pours milk for a small stray cat. If you've watched all of Disney's recent films, you probably noticed this cat bears a striking resemblance to Socks, the robotic assistant cat from the Buzz Lightyear movie. As we know with Pixar, there are no coincidences.
Hello, Buzz.
Unicorn. When Riley's mom goes into her room to get ready for the hockey camp, something interesting catches the eye. Notice next to her, there's a rainbow unicorn poster, the same one Joy, Sadness, and Bing Bong encountered in Riley's Mind's Dream production studio. I told you several things from the first movie would show up in the second.
She wants your autograph.
No, Sadness. Don't bother Miss Unicorn, okay? Sorry, she's from out of town.
Imaginary boyfriend. In the first movie, we saw Riley's imaginary boyfriend machine creating a mix of Justin Bieber with Harry Styles, ready to die for the girl. But in the second movie, he doesn't appear, right? Wrong! That's because on one of the monitors in the anxiety control room, we see a representation of that famous distracted boyfriend meme. Only in the anxiety version, it's Val, Riley, and him. Riley's imaginary boyfriend from her mind. Yeah, even though 2 years have passed, it seems Riley's taste for the ideal boyfriend model hasn't changed.
I would die for Riley.
Pugoo! When Riley is playing with Bree and Grace, we see the brave Lance Slashblade being introduced as a game character. However, he fails miserably and gets punched by another character named Pugoo, a puggy dog with boxing gloves. The detail is that just like Riley likes Lance, Grace, the protagonist's friend, likes Pugoo so much that she has the character printed on her sweatshirt.
No one is totally worthless.
But I am a warrior cursed with a feeble attack.
Val. Val Ortiz is the newest character and friend of Riley that we meet in the second part of Inside Out. And the character's origin, or at least her name, has a theory that has been widely spread among Disney fans. She is said to have been inspired by the Mexican revolutionary Valentina Ramirez, known as the Mexican Mulan, and Mulan is also one of the Disney princesses. Perhaps that's where the inspiration comes from? I didn't know that. Broccoli pizza. One of the memorable moments from the first movie is when Riley and her mom go to buy pizza for dinner after arriving in San Francisco, and we see the famous broccoli pizza. It really seems that this moment over a year ago left a mark on the girl in a big way, that when emotions need to navigate the river in Riley's mind, we see pizzas and also broccoli, but separated, as they should be. T. At the end of the movie, when Joy convinces Anxiety that she shouldn't decide how Riley should live her life, realizing this herself, we see the orange emotion now resting in her armchair, enjoying a nice cup of tea. Next to her, there's a box where we notice a pun with the word T and Anxiety's name, as the box reads Anxiety, Elio. As we all know, every Pixar film references the next film to be released. We even have a video here on the channel listing these references. And of course, Inside Out would reference its successor, which is Elio. When Sadness returns to the control center of emotions, she brings back several memories. One of them is a representation of a moment from the Elio trailer, where he's taken into space. Ralph. When Joy and the old emotions arrive at Anxiety's headquarters, where several workers are doing what she commands, Joy delivers a beautiful speech. And the first designer who comes up with a new idea to make Riley happy sports a distinctive goatee. This is an internal homage by Pixar to Ralph Eggleston, one of the company's designers who unfortunately passed away in 2022. He contributed to various projects at the company, like Birds, which also appeared in the first Inside Out film. Those were all the references, details, and Easter eggs we've gathered to show you today. If you want to keep having fun with us, just click on one of these videos that are popping up for you right now. See you in the next video!